Yep, here to talk about the latest news about Atlanta Hawks owner Bruce Levinson. He was he sold his controlling interest in the team due to some statements he made about attendance at the Atlanta Hawks games. Now I'm gonna just read some of what was posted about this incident. Atlanta Hawks co-owner Bruce Levinson said Sunday he is selling his controlling interest in the team in part due to an inflammatory email he said he wrote in an attempt to bridge Atlanta's racial sports divide. Levinson said he regrets the email sent to the team's co-owners and general manager Danny Ferry 2 years ago as inappropriate and offensive. In a statement released by the team, Levinson said he sent the email due to his concerns about low attendance and a need to attract suburban whites. He says he later realized the email made it seem white fans were more important, and he voluntarily reported the email to the NBA. Now I'm going to stop right here because there are some key statements here. Levinson said he sent the email due to his concerns about low attendance and a need to attract suburban whites. Now, as a white male, a white person in that position of being a businessman, it's finicky for him to say, well, we need more white people at the games because all of a sudden race is involved. People only see the color. Oh, what is he, racist? What are you saying? What do you mean there needs to be more white people at the games? Well, it may be true that there needs to be more white people at the games. The same way it's true that there needs to be more black people at baseball games. But that's an interest thing, right? Maybe it's an interest. That's a key element also in this. The white people may not be interested in the Atlanta Hawks basketball team. But let me get into that. But let me go to this first. He says he later realized the email made it seem white fans were more important. You know why he believed that? Because, once again, race is not addressed responsibly. So when he says there needs to be more white people at the games, automatically society starts to believe that, oh, well, he thinks white people are more important. We need to see more white people because these games are, it's 70% black people at the games. And when you have camera shots in the audience at the basketball games on national television or on their local sports telecast, the camera shots are none but black people throughout the stadiums. It just looks odd. We need more white people, because, white people need to be presented, But the truth is, he's talking about diversity. He wrote in an attempt to bridge Atlanta's racial sports divide. He's talking about Atlanta particularly. He's not talking about sports in general. He's talking about Atlanta's sports scene. Right? Now, he says it would seem as if the white fans were more important. He doesn't believe that. He's not saying that. He's saying it seemed that way to society due to the naive, ignorant political correctness we have, this false politically correctness where we think, oh, he said that, let's charge him and correct that issue because he said something inappropriate and racist. Let me switch that around. If he was a black owner and it was a black manager for the Atlanta Braves. Now the Atlanta Braves, actually I think the baseball team has a diverse attendance, so I guess that's a bad example. But let's just say the Atlanta Hawks had a black owner, but yet it was mostly white people in the stands. Would he be racist if he said there needs to be more diversity, more black people at the basketball games? You know what? Yes, it would seem racist. You know why it would seem racist? Because people only see color. They don't see actually what they're intending to do, what they're intending to accomplish in that particular situation. They only see the color that's presented. Now let me address something later on in the story because this is bringing about racism when it's really just a class issue. Now, here's a quote: "My theory is that the black crowd scared away the whites, and there are simply not enough affluent black fans to build a significant season ticket base." Now, in a nutshell, what that is saying is the black people at the games are scaring away the white fans, and the black people at the games, the attendance is so low. So it's two things. Once again, that was initially addressed: the low attendance and the lack of white people at the games. So this would mean he's addressing low attendance and the lack of white people at the games. Now, if he says that black people scare away the white people, is that racist? No, that's not racist. They have a color. If they're black and they're scaring away the white people, then they're black people scaring away the white people at the games. That's just being honest about the issue. Now let's look at, please don't get me wrong, there was nothing threatening going on in the arena back then. I never felt uncomfortable, but I think Southern whites simply were not comfortable being in an arena or at a bar where they were in the minority. That's a personal thing with those white people. He is the owner. If they are voicing their concerns about it, albeit that they may just be paranoid, it's still a concern that he has to take into consideration. Levinson said Hawks crowds are 70% black. The team's cheerleaders are black, and hip hop music is always played. He says, though he said he disagreed with the conclusion, he said he told team executives to add white cheerleaders and music familiar to a 40-year-old white guy. Is that him trying to keep black people from showing their culture in Atlanta? Because Atlanta is primarily a black city. No, that's just him trying to bring diversity to that team. The statements do not represent the city of Atlanta's history of diversity and inclusion and will be cleared and deliberate in denouncing and repudiating them, Reed said. I applaud the NBA's efforts to enforce a no-tolerant policy of discrimination. As a city, we will continue to stand behind the Atlanta Hawks organization as they work to find new ownership that reflects the values and ideals of a city that is too busy to hate. Where did he say he hated black people? Now, of course, you could say, well, you're not reading between the lines. He's saying he's sick of seeing so many black people. There needs to be more white people at the games. Well, you know what? That's not racism neither. When you look at a baseball game and you see 70% white people, when you look at TV and commercials, as a black person, as a non-white person, you have the thought of there are too many white people on TV. That is not racism. That is not hating white people. That is just a concern for diversity in these particular mediums presented to society. I'll be back.